welcome back to another episode of the Pez and Pork Show. It is our privilege to welcome back the one and only Craig the Red Foreman. Welcome back, Craig.
Good evening, or good morning, should I say, for where I am. Pork, how are you?
Well, 8 hours, I think, is what we're different. So I guess it's still, well, it's right at the afternoon.
Technically afternoon.
yeah, technically. And we have our first time guest as a special one here, E1 Kicks. Welcome, my man.
Appreciate you having me.
Glad to have you on the show and finally put a face to the name and the comments. It's glad
I don't have to type so much today.
Yeah, it's exciting. And of course, our resident doc, the guru of all fantasy, the one that can cure our ills that we feel on Monday morning. Pez, Dr. Pez, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully this evening. We have an exciting show. We get to hear some expert advice from our panel on some can't miss prospects. What are you thinking? You have some good names for us tonight, Pez?
I think so, yeah.
All right, well, let's get to it.
Everyone else thinks.
Pez, who do you have? By the way, for our audience, he's going to do four positions. Quarterback, running back, tight end, and wide receiver, of course. And we will do each person at a time. So, Dr. Pez, let's hear your can't-miss prospects.
So, quarterback, I've gone with Jalen Hurts. Only until Johnny put this in as an idea, I actually looked at Jalen Hurts because I wasn't really into him through pretty much my whole mock drafting. But then I looked at him and I just thought he's in his 3 years. Well, he's been 4 years as a starter, but 3 years, he's 9th, 3rd, and 2nd overall in them. So he's only getting better. I just looked at his situation and it put me off with Saquon Barkley being there. And I thought that might be a hindrance. But I think, if anything, Saquon Barkley is just going to benefit Jalen Hurts because there's more to think about now, isn't there? With Saquon there. Is Jalen going to keep it? Is Saquon going to keep it? And even though Kelsey's retired, I still think he'll be able to pull off that sneak as much like with the new center he's got anyway. So I think he's a no-brainer, really. And for Stroud to be above him, I think is ridiculous because I don't think Stroud even finished in the top 10 in fantasy last year. So I know he's got all the weapons, but I don't know.
Okay, so quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Who do you have at running back there? It says Rashid White. Why is Rashid White going to be the guy that cannot miss?
For me, it's situation, this one. He's 11. He's RB11 at the moment.
Okay.
But finished, I'll double check. He finished RB4 or 5 last year. He's actually RB12 and he finished RB4 last year.
Wow.
And I just think with Baker Mayfield and the way the books are situated, I think he's just going to have another monster year again. Really, that's why I went with him as my must-have pick, solely because of situation.
Yeah, so he was in the Orkney Bowl. I just opened up the tab to have the Orkney Bowl scoring. He finished at number 8 running back last year. And he is being drafted at running back 11. So Pez has him pegged right now as his can't miss running back. Looks like Pez has some issues. Maybe forgot to do some grocery shopping. I'm not sure. Needs to go and get the bread for the missus. Everett, he has Cooper Kupp as a can't miss wide receiver.
Exactly. I think he's ran away for because Cooper Kupp for a can't miss is a crazy pick. So I think he's right. Oh, here he's back to explain his Cooper Kupp noise.
Does the doc need a doc? What is this Cooper Kupp can't miss?
So, you said before we started, was it position or situation. I just think, looking at him, he's had his injuries. I'm going to go with the thing that he said, that he's fully healthy now. And my thing with it is, the last time he had a stinker of a season, he ended up finishing top 5 as a wide receiver. And yeah, Puka Nacua was the new sexy hotness, and he was good last year. But everyone's got to remember that Stafford and Cup have that instant connection, like from when Stafford came to the Rams. So that's what I'm relying on there. I think where you can get Cooper Kupp, I think he's going to be a steal come the end of the year.
Let's see. Cooper Kupp was the number 41 wide receiver last year, and in his age 31 season. So can't miss. Cooper Kupp going to come on late at the end of the year. And you have Mark Andrews, again, a guy that has not been healthy for 4 years in a row. I think he's missed games. How is he a can't miss, Dr. Pez?
Because even though he only played 10 games last year and finished 15th in PPR scoring, you got to remember with the Oatly Bowl, with the tight end premium on receptions, obviously it all comes on health for this. But for the last 4 years, 5th, 6th, 1st, and 4th. And when he's healthy and he's on the field, he is literally Lamar's number 1 target. So for me, I think where you can get him at the moment, everyone's going high on Laporta and Kelsey, but I think Andrews is the steal where you can get Andrews.
There's only 2 tight ends in the game that will be number 1 targets. There's only 2 tight ends. Kelsey and Andrews are the only 2 tight ends who will be their team's number 1 target, and that's a big thing.
No worry about Isaiah Likely. That played very well in Andrews' absence.
No. I think as long as Andrews is healthy, Andrews is the one. Lamar trusts him. Lamar goes to him. Every time he needs someone, it's always Andrews. So not yet anyway. I don't think Likely is going to steal much from him.
So, Dr. Pez, do you have any honorable mention players you'd like to mention? Or are these your 4 can't-miss guys that you need on your roster when it comes time to draft?
I think
Well, he has had to go out and get some milk, it looks. So hopefully he'll be back after he gets some milk. So we will kick it off to you, Mr. E-Dub1. Who do you have at your can't miss? Who is the guy that we should be targeting in every draft? Who's the one that's going to bring home the bacon to mama? Please give us your wisdom.
Johnny's sleeping in the background too. Johnny, can we get the flip to Everett's picks, please? There we go.
We have Lamar Jackson at QB, Bijan Mustard at running back, and we have the Jamar everyone chases down at wide receiver, and the young kid Dalton Kincaid at tight end. Everett, what you thinking here?
So it's the well, 2 of these 4 are probably super obvious. So like Lamar Jackson does Lamar Jackson things, right? So he's top 5 quarterback year in and year out. With the addition of Henry, he's not gonna have to scramble as much, so we might get some more air yards and passing touchdowns. Sneaker Jacks, that's my guy right there.
I hope you don't listen to him for advice. Redskins in the playoffs. That guy needs to go to the shrink. Where's Dr. Pez when we need him? All right, E-Dub, please continue.
So then with Bijan Robinson, right? You see who his quarterback is now, right? Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins in Minnesota, when he had Dalvin Cook was top 3 running back. Bijan, second year, he's gonna be the bell cow over there in Atlanta. He's gonna have a way bigger season than he had last year. Jamar Chase at wide receiver, obvious. He's a monster. Joe Burrow's healthy. And all else fails, throw it to Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is wide receiver overall 1 anytime. Dalton Kincaid in the Orkney Bowl, tight end, bonus points will eat. He's Josh Allen wanted him drafted to his team for a reason, and we saw that towards the middle of the season last year. Kincaid was getting red zone targets, all kind of targets that you thought Dawson Knox was going to get. Kincaid's going to be the number 1 target, kind of like Andrews in Baltimore. So those would be usual suspects. Like, can anyone land all 4 of them on one team? Probably not. But if you get 2 out of those 4, you'll be off to a good start.
Looking good. You're feeling confident.
So let me just
back. Chase is going back to the number 1, number 2 wide receiver. Going out on a limb with the young kid in Kincaid. Allen has no other option, right? And then you like the old moves of Bijan the Mustard. I love it. Craig, what are you thinking? You have any doubts about these guys?
Can I just check with you, Everett? With Bijan, does the quarterback position and the quarterback situation in Atlanta not worry you a little bit there, in the sense of you've got Penix in the background just clipping his heels, and if Cousins doesn't start well, they're going to be clambering for him. And does that not worry you a little bit in Atlanta when going for a can't miss?
Kirk Cousins is a top 5 quarterback, healthy.
You think it's Cousins' year for sure?
Cousins is going to make a lot of these guys play so much better. Even if it's a 1-year thing, we're only worried about this year, and I don't see Michael Penix playing unless Cousins gets hurt. He's not gonna. We know the starting job's Cousins already.
Excellent. I do agree. I think Bijan will have a really big season over there, but I think it will be in spite of a little bit in and out. I think there's going to be a problem with the quarterback position. I think that's going to affect the wide receivers more, though. And Bijan is just going to be a bell cow in the end, and he's going to get 20, 25 touches a week. I will be after him in most drafts.
Pez, this time last year, the 3 of us, me, you, and Craig, were doing a live show, and we were talking about Lamar Jackson. And Craig was high on him. And then we did another show with him around week 8, and he was trash. And at the end of the year, he's like the MVP of the NFL. Pez, do we love him or hate him? I don't know what to do here. Craig is pulling me in both directions. Should I be listening to the evil red Foreman, Craig? Or Craig, the Green Bay Packer fan? And E-Dub? Give me some feelings here. What should I do with Lamar, Dr. Pez? I think he's shocked by my question.
I think he's frozen. Yeah. I've very much got a love-hate relationship with Lamar, as you know, Pork. It's just I just don't think he's a great passer of the football. It's all about his legs, I don't think he's a great passer of the football. So, me with Lamar, it's very much a love-hate thing.
Yeah, and I'm just always waiting for his legs to break down, get that one hit that puts him out for 8 games and never be the same. It happens to almost every running quarterback. So I am a bit nervous on that. So Everett, do you have any honorable mention players, or is that that right there? That's your best 4 you got?
That's the best 4, and then I got 2 honorable mentions.
All right, who you got?
So, it would have been 3, but Kirk Cousins is the obvious choice. You can get Kirk Cousins late, if you're waiting on a quarterback. I have all of my trust in Cousins. But 2 for a receiver would be Deontay Johnson. Bryce Young,
Johnson.
You can get him. You can get him late. He's going to be your wide receiver 1 in Carolina. He's a possession guy as well, so he'll be able to get Bryce Young out of some jams. His route running is incredible, and I like Johnson. That was a great move by the Panthers to bring him in. And then at tight end, Pat Freiermuth. He finished top 15 once before. Even it don't matter if it's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. Fields is going, especially when Fields hits the field this season. Look, when he was in Chicago, Cole Kmet was getting big major targets, and Freiermuth is going to eat in this offense.
Yeah, I like
Fryermouth
Fryermuth.
burned me too much last year. I was huge on Fryermouth last year, and I got absolutely burned by him.
That hamstring, that hamstring got the best of him last year.
I know.
Yeah, all right, I like that. I think I'm going to have to do a little bit more diving into Deontay Johnson. I haven't given him much thought just because of the situation in Carolina. I'm not a big fan of that.
I'm telling you, in this other league I'm in, his name's Garrett. I'm in the league with him. We do live drafts and everything, and I missed out on Deontay Johnson 3 years in a row because I just overlooked him.
Well, that's good news.
Whenever I played against him, whenever I played the guy who had Deontay Johnson, I mean, I'm over here sweating like I hope he doesn't score another 20 points. So those 20 points come quick with him.
Yeah, it does. All right.
Our esteemed commissioner used a keeper option for Deontay Johnson in our home league. He actually kept Deontay Johnson from one season to next. So he's big on Deontay Johnson as our commissioner.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Pez. Do you have any thoughts on these guys?
I'm trying, but my internet's just decided not to play ball today. So if I can actually get out,
your dog is probably chewing on the internet cable, man. Where's your dog?
Oh, probably barking at something, no doubt. But I agree with Everett. Deontay Johnson this year with the Panthers. You look at the situation with Dave Canales. It's like, look what he did with Baker Mayfield last year. People, I think I mentioned this last week. People forget that he was with Russ for multiple years in Seattle, and what he did with Baker last year. Clearly, they brought him in solely to try and get Bryce Young working. And like Everett said, I really like Deontay Johnson because he's a PPR machine as well. Like, he might not get them touchdowns, but he gets them touches all the time. So I think he'll surpass Thielen and a few of these others and just solidify himself as the wide receiver one. And he could be an absolute bargain where he's going at the moment.
Loads of touches.
All right.
He will be the target.
Okay, so we have our can't miss from Dr. Pez and Ewan. Now we will go on to our next one, which happens to be the sizzle from the one and only Pork. I am bringing home the bacon and sharing the sweet, sweet smell with my family by drafting these four guys 100%. I have Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. Why? Well, he's always number one until somebody takes that mantle away from him. He will be number one. And you're asking, but what about Josh Allen? Who cares about Josh Allen and all of his rookie wide receivers and wide receivers that no one else wanted that are now on his team? He has to find new players to throw to. Diggs out, Davis out. All new wide receivers that he has to get a rapport with. I'm sticking with Mahomes to be that can't-miss quarterback again in Orkney Bowl as far as the number one scorer in quarterback. At wide receiver, all right, running back, of course, until he gets hurt. And I say it every year, and I've been right every year except last year. So the percentages are in my favor. CMC, I love you. You're going to be the can't-miss guy all the way up until like week 9 when everyone needs you, and then you're going to be sporadic until the playoffs. Probable every week, getting minimum touches until the game is out of reach. You'll get some. As soon as the game is in, you're going to get pulled. You're not going to be offensive player of the year this year, but you're still my can't-miss guy. CeeDee Lamb. Hey, call me a homer if you will, but CeeDee Lamb is going to be wide receiver one this year. You look at Justin Jefferson, his quarterback is gone. Burrow has to get back into rhythm. If you look at Joe Burrow's seasons, every year since he's been in the league, his first 4 weeks, he's been trash. Not even the top 15 quarterback. Those first 3 or 4 weeks, Burrow catches fire. Get the Jamar Chase all you want, but CeeDee Lamb will have a 3 or 4 week rabbit race right out of there, he's going to be too far ahead. And Travis Kelce, of course. If you're going to have the number one target for the number one quarterback, why not take Travis Kelce and just pray he doesn't get hurt? I do have a couple of honorable mentions here. If you're looking for that guy at tight end, that people are starting to get a little frustrated, that he's getting drafted around tight end 6, 7, some 8, go for Kyle Pitts. He's in a new offense. They're going to try him at wide receiver this year and tight end. They are going to get him the ball this year. And don't forget, everyone thinks Kyle Pitts was a terrible player from year one. He had 1,000 yards his rookie year. He showed he can perform when he's given the ball. So I am going to go and get Kyle Pitts in every league that I can. And if you're looking for value and you have this number 7 or 8 pick in the first round, go with our man, Amon St. Brown. Pick him as your number one wide receiver because Chase will be gone. Lamb will be gone. Jefferson will be gone. But Amon St. Brown finished last year as the number 3 wide receiver. He's going to finish as the top 2 this year. He's going to feel more comfortable. Goff is going to love him with that brand new contract. Go get your boy. Craig, tell me where I'm wrong.
Well, I'm going to argue with your Patrick Mahomes comments, Port, but I'm going to do it when my picks are up there because, as you can imagine, I have Josh Allen wrapped into my quarterback, so I'll go over that when we get to that, my reasons behind that. But outside of that, I think you're absolutely spot on correct. You know, CMC, if he stays fit, he will be the number 1 running back. I don't think anyone would argue that. You know, he gets the touches and he gets the yards. So, yeah, definitely. And Kelce was my tight end pick, but Johnny made me change it because you had him. So I can't disagree there.
Dr. Pez, are you with us?
I like your call for Kyle Pitts as well. I like your call for Kyle Pitts. This will be his year, I agree.
I open back. This has been an awful show. I don't know what's up with my internet, but
not a problem, man. Not a problem. Technology has with us. So, do you have any comments on anything I said there?
From what I heard, no, I do agree with everything you say. Like, I agree with Mahomes bounce back. CD Lamb, his position, his situation has not really changed, so you can only expect him to just have the same production. You could see a massive bounce back for Kelce this year with the new weapons as wide receiver. So with the speed that they bring, it's going to just give Kelce back his little role where he can roam around. Defenses have got more to think about than just Travis Kelce this season. Christian McCaffrey, I don't know why he always scares me, but luckily in none of my leagues I'm first overall, so I don't need to worry about that headache. One comment you did say about St. Brown is in a lot of mocks and leagues I've drafted in so far, Justin Jefferson, no one wants him. No one wants to touch him. Wow. Obviously, you can understand why it's Sam Darnold or a rookie, but no one really knows what he's going to do. So,
is that right?
Yeah. What was that, mate?
I said JJ
I'm going to be arguing that in a second.
Quarterback this year.
Oh yeah, 100%. Without a shadow of a doubt, rookie of the year. Like it's already stamped.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it's him or Bo Nix, actually. Ewan, tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm making my fatal flaws.
I'm gonna tell you what. This is one time where I would agree with everything you said on that, especially with Kyle Pitts, because as to what I said about Bijan, they have a real quarterback behind center now with Kirk Cousins, and I don't think they need to use Pitts as a wide receiver. He can just play the way he's been playing, and they'll be just fine. But yeah, Pitts would be. But I don't think, depending on which league you draft in, how late you can get him. But and St. Brown, you'd be lucky to get him out the second round, bro. He's
Yeah, I
gonna,
agree. Yeah.
he's gonna be one of
Take him
those.
at number 8 and be happy. Yes. Yes.
He's gonna be the he'll have a better year this year than last year because last year he played hurt and no one knew that.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to know that.
Yeah. Receiver on Netflix showed it all.
Yeah.
He tear his oblique.
Oh, I've seen
Was
it,
it his
yeah.
Yeah.
oblique clear off the bone or something? And he was just playing through it.
Wow. Wow. Well, I am happy to
Um,
hear that my predictions are sizzling and not burning and setting off the fire alarms. That makes me feel good in my teams. So, Craig, bring it home. Be the home run hitter. Kick in that penalty goal and bring home the trophy to England. I mean, who can we not miss out on?
So here we go. So these are my 4 here, and I've went about it slightly differently in that I've went for 4 guys who I feel you can have in your team. So if your one's 4 fantastic players, but you ain't having those 4 players in your squad. Whereas I believe that you could draft these 4 players. So Josh Allen at quarterback. Now, you went Patrick Mahomes is a golden boy. He's the swing. He's the big man. He's the one who everyone loves. He's the one with the rings. But we're not talking about Super Bowl rings here. We're talking about fantasy. And in fantasy land, Josh Allen outscores Patrick Mahomes year on year on year. He has the legs and he uses them. Now, yes, he's lost his receivers. But Keon Coleman was drafted on the back of Josh Allen saying, draft Keon Coleman. So he has his man. He has the man that he asked for. He got him. And I think with that target there, with Kincaid at tight end, who will get better and better this year, I just think Josh Allen is on for QB1 this year. As not shooting, obviously, but if he stays fit, the Buffalo Bills will be fine. They will play well. And I think Josh Allen is a very, very, very positive pick for QB1 this year. Josh Jacobs at running back. Now, as you know, I'm a Packer, so it's a little bit of a heart call. But 2 years ago, Josh Jacobs was the number 1 running back in the NFL. Now, last year, the Raiders were all over the place. They weren't the best. He was playing for contract, and he didn't do so well. But 2 years ago, he was the number 1 running back in the NFL. He's now joined a team who run the ball very, very well. If you look back, not just Aaron Jones, but before Aaron Jones, right through the whole entire Aaron Rodgers era, Green Bay had a really good running back and ran the ball very, very well. I do not see that changing, and I think Josh Jacobs is going to be an absolute magnet for the ball. He's going to get 20-plus touches every game, and I can't see how he doesn't go and score 12-plus touchdowns and well over 1,000 yards. Another controversial one with Justin Jefferson, and I know everyone's going off him, and I know everyone's thinking, no, he's not got the quarterback, he's not got that, but he will be the number 1 target, and the man is a bona fide machine. He is an absolute bona fide machine. If he gets 9 targets a game, he's going to catch 7 of them, unless they're really badly thrown. And, as Pez says, he's slipping down and down and down the draft. You're getting him at the back end of round 1. He's slipping into round 2. And but there is no way he's not going to be a top 5 receiver if he plays 17 games next season. There's just not, for me. And then the last, probably most controversial one, I am slipping in Cole Kmet here, but I have a theory, I have a reason. So you've got now, Cole Kmet is a very good tight end, and we all know tight ends rookie year, they don't tend to, it takes time for a tight end to manifest into his role in the NFL. The time and time again, tight ends, you expect them to, the rookie tight ends, brilliant. They don't do well, and then a couple of years later, here they come, they've settled in. Now, Cole Kmet's had a couple of years. He's now in a team that have got the number 1 draft pick for the quarterback in Caleb Williams, and they've got 3 fantastic wide receivers. Those wide receivers are going to be taking a lot of the defenders away. Cole Kmet is going to be sitting in that wee gap, wide open, and Caleb Williams, as a rookie quarterback, is going to look for an offset. He's going to look for a drop down, and that's going to be Cole Kmet. And again, I think he's going to get a heck of a lot of touches. And yes, the receivers will get their touches, but they will be marked all over the shop. And Caleb Williams in year 1 is not going to be wanting to try and fit it into wee tight gaps. He's going to be looking for the man who is open. And I think that man's going to be Cole Kmet quite a lot, so it will be dump-offs. And that's why Cole Kmet's been slotted in there. From where you can get him in the draft, I think he is going... There is a very good chance he'll be a top 8 receiver, top 8 tight end this year. And that's my reasoning for those 4 players. I have a honourable mention for Saquon Barkley as well, because the amount of touches he's going to get, and like Pez said with Jalen Hurts and his quarterback spot, Saquon Barkley is going to get 100 catches this year. You know, Hurts will dump it off to him often, and you know what he's like. Once he gets the ball in his hands, he's off. So very much an honourable mention for Saquon Barkley, who would have been in there had Jacobs not went to Green Bay.
I agree with what a lot of you said. But before I get into my analysis, I would like to hear what Ewan Everett is Craig, ill? Does he have the shakes? Is he crazy? Or is he speaking common sense to us here?
Now, I'm going to tell you what. I always appreciate Craig's insight because he looks at things like he's not conventional when it comes to the way he picks or how he looks at players. I definitely like what he said about Jacobs. Jacobs will have, I think he won't have as much put on him like when he was with the Raiders. So catching out the backfield, just like how Aaron Jones was, but I think he's a little bit stronger of a back than Aaron Jones is. And
year younger, don't forget, 1 year younger as well as Josh Jacobs.
Justin Jefferson is quarterback proof. I mean, they had freaking Dobbs throwing to him, and he was still putting up crazy fantasy points. So it don't matter who's the quarterback. I could be quarterback. As long as I throw it up his way, he's going to get it. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter who's the quarterback. If it's Donald or J.J. McCarthy, Jefferson's going to produce. And Cole Kmet, I could see why he said that because I even mentioned it when Justin Fields was there. Cole Kmet was still eating. You get Caleb Williams. Cole Kmet's going to be the safety blanket. It's going to be hard to feed those 3 wide receivers. And, how do you defend those guys, right? You got 3 top-notch wide receivers, and you're going to be stuck with a linebacker on Kmet, and Kmet's probably going to win that 9 out of 10 times.
I can agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. Actually, with Cole Kmet, he's one guy that I have personally stayed away from because every year, well, this is the 3rd year in a row, all we hear are Cole Kmet, Cole Kmet, Cole Kmet, Cole Kmet. This year at tight end, you got to draft him. He's the sleeper. And every year he falls flat. And so, again, we're hearing that big hype because they have Rome Odunze, and they have DJ Moore, and they have Caleb Williams now. And
Keenan Allen, don't forget Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, that's right. Yeah, as wide receiver too, is Allen or Odunze. The Bears have a chance to be an explosive offense, and how many touches are going to be left for Kmet? Is Williams going to be a tight end friendly QB? Some guys are, and some guys are not. Look at Russell Wilson. Love the wide receivers. His tight ends never performed. They had one of the best receiving tight ends in the NFL with Jimmy Graham, and he always fell flat. So I'm interested to see what type of QB Caleb Williams will be. Will he love the tight ends? And in my experience, the people, or from my observations, the QBs that have trust in their tight ends are generally top 10 QBs, and their teams win. Brady, Mahomes, Alex Smith before when he was in San Fran, etc. They always trusted in the tight ends, and the offense was better. So, yeah, maybe Cole Kmet is that guy. That's all I have to say. So before we move on into the mock draft, does anyone else have anything that they would like to add? Call me crazy. Tell me that I need to be made into bacon and get out of here.
I'm afraid to say one because we got the draft. Right. We got the draft not too far. I don't want to give too many of my secrets.
All right, well keep that.
But one guy
analysis.
No, but one guy who was a top receiver, and I don't know if it's offensive schemes and quarterbacks, but Darnell Mooney will be a late draft steal because now he's back in the system where he can really do like his, one of his first years with Chicago. So I like him. I like that pickup by the Falcons to get Mooney, and if I can steal him late towards the end of the draft, and that's we got deep flex spots, so I like.
I think you'll be able to steal him late in drafts, Everett. No problem. I think you'll get him no problem late in drafts. And
especially
I hear what you're saying.
These hamstring injuries like last year. I mean, he's gonna be able to play.
And he was good the year before. My issue there is there's just too many receivers kicking about the Falcons now to how much pitch time and how much, how many targets is he actually going to get? That would be my issue there. But as you say, a late pickup, absolutely stick him on your bench because he might be one that clicks in, that clicks.
Because it's him, London, and Pitts. So, I mean, those are the three guys that are going to get the targets.
Yeah, it's... you've got Bijan out the backfield as well. It picks up a lot of targets, and it's I hear you. Another late one for me that I think is going to have a real good year and could have a real good year. And another older one is Beckham. Beckham's away to Miami, and that's going to shoot him just down to the tee. You've got Hill there. You've got what's his face? The other one. You've got the two of them there. Yeah, it's Waddle. Yeah, so you've got Hill and Waddle that will take away all the attention, and you're going to have OBJ just sticking down into the slot, and they'll find him and he'll run his yards. I think he'll do just fine as well, and he's proper last couple of round pick, and I think he'll do very well for where you get him.
Okay, sorry. All right, I like tonight's show. It's quite lively, a lot of good advice, a lot of great points. Actually, I've learned a lot of perspective on some guys that maybe I will take a different look at. I love it. And now we are going to move on to the next part of our show. If you have stuck around, now is the time to watch so you can maybe learn, where some guys might fall in the draft and to see where you might be able to pick them up, whether it's early or late, and also perhaps some draft analysis. We are going to do a mock draft of the first 4 rounds. Now, Johnny, am I in the draft?
Yes, you are
in the draft.
Okay.
Hey, so are we picking who we will pick as if we were drafting for a team, or are we doing one of each position?
Well,
no, as if you were drafting for the team, as if you were drafting your team. This is how I would draft in this position with the players that have gone up to now.
I think at that round, you would draft the guy you would draft at that point.
Gotcha.
Regardless of position.
We're just waiting on Pez to get online.
We'll be able to be live for his choices, but we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome, everybody. We are about to start our first ever Orkney Bowl live mock draft. I believe we have 5 of us to join, and we might have some other people join later that is not part of our show, but will be part in the draft room and drafting their own teams in the mock draft. We have, of course, Craig. Welcome to the mock draft, Craig. Ewan Kicks and Johnny back in the producer booth. Welcome, Johnny. As always, I forgot to mention you in the beginning of the show. I apologize.
No problem.
I
like being in the background. It's okay.
So, Johnny, would I be correct in saying that we now have this set to Orkney Bowl scoring?
I'll just set up a league just for this draft, and I'll delete it afterwards, and I'll do another one for tonight's show, Craig. Are you still tonight?
This is the Orkney Bowl scoring because I believe Johnny created a league and created the scoring for this is Orkney Bowl scoring. Is that correct, Johnny?
Indeed, yes.
It is. Yep. All right.
So everybody's in. Let's kick it off, Johnny.
I'll make it big screen so you can see. Right. Yeah. So let's get started.
And if you want to chat, there is a place that we can chat here, and people can see it in the room. E-dubs.
So it's Chris McCaffrey's first pick then, Johnny. If you're up round one, McCaffrey's the pick. What's the thinking there? Is that well, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? It's CMC. It's avoid injury.
Yeah, well, I am stuck with the 101, so I will be going McCaffrey with the 101, and obviously hope he doesn't get injured, but because he seems to, well, he is the best player in the NFL when he's not injured, so you have to go for him. So,
and of course, Dubs, you got your man Jamar Chase, one of your guys. How excited are you?
I don't even think twice. That was my hands on auto drive when it.
Well, Everett, you've got the first pick. Are you still taking Chase? Is Chase your first round pick if he's still there, regardless? Is that the thinking for this year?
Nice question.
And look at that, Pez. He got his can't miss. Jalen Hurts at number 1, and now me. I have my opportunity to make my first round draft pick. Well, get your popcorn out, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the pick that is going to win you your Orkney Bowl championship. Right here is going to be Amon St. Brown, a can't-miss guy at number 108. Who do you got, Mr. Craig?
So Amon-Ra there. So then Stroud and Jackson goes. Now, I'm sitting here absolutely loving this draft. This is exactly how I would love the draft to go for the Orkney Bowl if I'm sitting at the back end. In round 11, there are 5 quarterbacks have been picked already. It's a 1 quarterback league. So that leaves wide open the running back position and the wide receiver position. And that is exactly what I'm looking at here. And I'm now just looking for the best wide receiver or the best running back, which I perceive to be on the board. As moving on, I feel a lot more comfortable taking wide receivers in the middle rounds than I do taking running backs in the middle rounds. I think there's a lot more points on offer for wide receivers in the middle rounds than there are running backs in the middle rounds. So I'm staring right to running backs here. And like Everett very well pointed out earlier on, for me, it's all about Bijan this season. So I will be picking. It's between Robinson and Hall. My 2 choices here are definitely Robinson or Hall. And I'm flipping on Bijan being the man for running back this season.
I agree 100% with you. Yeah, running backs early over the wide receivers here.
I would love to have picked up Hall here and taken the 2 of them. I would have loved to have went Bijan Hall, but I took 11, the 11th spot specifically because there would be then 2 other players going, so I had to think about the comeback. I'm not getting 2 in a row. So with Hall now gone, which upsets me a little bit, I'm going to flip. I'm still going to go running back again because, again, I'm more comfortable with my wide receivers later on. And obviously, it's all injury aside. Anyone picks up an injury and you get screwed. But if not, there's just so many committees in the game now that running backs are getting less and less touches. So I feel like they're more and more important to get one that's going to get a lot of touches. So for me, the big pick here, and the only pick I'm really looking at here, is Jamari Gibbs. And I feel like he's going to get a lot of touches this season. He's going to catch a lot of balls out the backfield. He'll get a lot of carries. And I just think that I've now started my team with Bijan Robinson and Jamari Gibbs. And I'm not sure, when the team who's playing me any given week are going to look at that and go, shit, is that his running backs? So I'm happy with that.
I think if you get Robinson and Gibbs in the first 2 rounds, you're sitting great. You're loving where you're sitting right now. Gibbs is going to have a breakout year. He finished so strong last year, and Robinson was looking better and better every week. Those are 2 great picks. I cannot deny that. I've already got one of my can't-miss guys with Amon St. Brown, and I am going to go with one of my honorable mentions. I did not mention this guy, but I am taking him in every draft that I can, and I am agreeing with Craig. Here, you are 100% going with running back, and the running back I'm going with is John Taylor. He has not played with Richardson yet. They haven't played together, not a single snap. This year, he's going to have a quarterback that is going to protect him. He's going to have another JT season. Go for it. Pez, who do you got?
He might not be on, Pez.
Pez takes his time. Everett, do you have any thoughts about Craig and I's choices?
Nah, I like all three of those backs. And I'm big on St. Brown. Those 4 picks are real good. I'm in the hot seat, huh?
We're into you now, Everett. It's on to you. You've got Chase and Tail. You've Wilson and Olave have went just in front of you. Pez has picked up Laporta, which is so he filled these onesie spots in rounds 1 and 2. There are copious amounts of reasons why I hate that, but we'll go for that in a different show, I'm sure. Everett, what are you looking at now for round 2 with Chase and Toe?
I'm gonna tell you. So, like Johnny likes to hoard running backs. I like to hoard the wide receivers, and that's a big play spot. So for me, someone who's been consistent the past 2 years, finished top 10, I'm gonna go with AJ Brown.
AJ Brown.
Good.
You've been high on AJ. Johnny, who are you thinking here?
I don't know. I forget. I've not actually got picks in the second and third round in the draft, so I've not even thought about much.
Yeah.
What's the over under? He takes Kyron Williams.
Round draft picks. So you should go with JJ McCarthy and maybe Zay Flowers.
There's a running back for you.
Running back. I say Pacheco in the second round. I can't disagree with you,
and
Johnny.
then it's still you, Johnny. We need another Johnny. And what's the thinking behind Pacheco? Is that that's just a kind of he'll be getting the carries? You think he'll be the number one?
Oh yeah,
number
I've
one
got,
in Kansas.
He'll be the number one. He's a great running back, and obviously the Chiefs tend to have a good one, and they've got a good offense. They should get more running room now. They've got decent receivers and not just Kelsey. I'm half tempted to pick up Kelsey too, just because I know you're picking a factor. Well, there you go.
There we go. There goes Trav. So it's he's doubled down in Kansas, rounds 2 and 3.
Got to go for the double Super Bowl champions, going for a third one, and it could happen again. So we just have to get Taylor Swift to all the games.
She's not coming, Johnny. But Neighbours and Jacobs have went next, and now it's back on to you, Everett. What we thinking here now with Chase and AJ Brown and the wide receiver?
I was hoping Jacobs was going to drop to me. But
yeah, I can imagine that.
Like our buddy Pez said, this guy's going to have another good year. So I'm going to go with Rashad White.
Wow, great pick, I think.
Absolutely.
And Josh Jacobs is still available in round 3. Just that answers one of my questions. A lot of people seem to think he's going to fit in Green Bay quite well, and he would be gone in the second round. Greg, what do you think? Josh Jacobs is going to 1,500 yards?
I think he'll go for well over 1,000 yards. I think he'll go for 12 plus touchdowns. I think Jacobs is going to have a massive season. I really do. And I think if that's what, kind of what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. He's a 9th running back picked off the board in this draft. I think he will be better than the 9th running back this season.
All right. So it's my turn to pick again after Drake London out of that Atlanta offense that we have mentioned earlier with Pitts and with Bijan. Yeah. And he's the 3rd Atlanta player picked already, and we're just halfway in the 3rd round. Is that too quick for these Atlanta guys, Craig?
Well, after last season, it's they need to change a lot for them to be. The one good thing I will say about Atlanta as well is their division's they're in the best division as well. If they're going to do, the division's terrible. So if these guys are as good as these guys we're told they are, then they should score well this season with the division that they've got.
So here I am 100% feeling running back. I'm feeling running back in a very strong way. The problem that I have is the guys that I really want are not available. And when the guys you really want are not available, well, the only ones left are the ones you don't want. Whether you like them or not, such as I love Kyren Williams. He actually took me to the championship, at least in 2 of my leagues last year. However, am I sold that he can repeat? Ram running backs haven't showed consistency year in, year out. However, I'm not sold on Kenneth Walker like Pez is. I'm not sold on A-Chain that he can be healthy. Henry's 31 or something like that. Cook, who knows what he's going to do in Buffalo. So here, I'm going Kyron Williams again this year.
I don't hate Kyron Williams going there. I don't hate that pick, and I do like Kyron Williams a lot. My big worry on Kyron Williams is Cam Akers came in and looked really good for a wee while and then dropped off a cliff. You know, they've had a few that have come in. You know, Henderson came in, looked really good for a wee while, then dropped off a cliff. So Williams does worry me, and they did draft at running back the Rams this year. So that worries me just a little bit, but at the same time, I do like Kyron Williams. I have him in Dynasty, so I hope he has a good year.
All right, who are you going to draft here, Craig?
Yeah, I've got 2 running backs already on the board, you know, so you got to think, you know me, I have no interest in quarterback at this stage. I'm more inclined to take a tight end, one of the premium tight ends earlier on, and certainly take a quarterback because I think they're much of a muchness. But there's none of them coming up at this stage. There's none of them that I'm looking at. And to be honest with you, the wide receivers around here, I think they'll all do well, but none of them jump out at me and say, yes, draft me, draft me, draft me. Unlike you, Pork, I love A-Chain. And I think, the speed that he has, if that boy can stay fit, I think he's going to be just a game changer in the fantasy world. You know, he will score multiple 60-plus yard touchdowns if he plays 17 games. I know I've got 2 running backs already on the board. There are flex spots. I'm going running back again. I just cannot let A-Chain go past the 311. So Devon A-Chain for me there. Now it's came round again, and Richardson's gone, and Moore's gone, and I'm fine with that because Richardson I would take, but much later on than this. And Moore, I prefer. I think they're going to be sharing out the targets too much. I can't see any of the 3 Chicago receivers being kind of top 10 wide receivers, top 15 wide receivers. I think they'll share the load too much. But here, I'm going to drift down, and I know that there's a lot of guys there, and I know that they've all been doing really well. But I just think Diggs is gone. I think Tank Dell will be the number 2, but I cannot see past Nico Collins with Stroud throwing at him. Stroud is showing how good he is, and I just think he's going to have another huge season. So Nico Collins is my wide receiver 1 for me there.
I like that Nico pick. I like that pick.
Nico Collins, that's surprising. 4th round. All right. Yeah, you know, he could, like you said, Tank Dell got injured. Who knows what he's going to do? Is Diggs out of gas? Ewan, what do you think? He's got A-Chain and Collins. Is that A-Chain? Is that too risky in the 3rd round? Kyron Williams, too risky in the 3rd round?
I tell you what, in most drafts, I've seen A-Chain gone in the 2nd round, so I think that's a good spot for him this year. I mean, he still has Raheem Mostert, and if Mostert's healthy, they're going to be splitting the backfield like last year. But A-Chain, he's a I don't think I've seen that. He can score points quick, so I like A-Chain in that spot.
All right. Well,
the thing about both of them there for me, I didn't see either of them coming back to the 5'11". So I've maybe went a wee bit early on them, but it's one of those ones. If you want the player and you don't think he's going to make it back to you, then you got to pick him up, whether it's early or not.
All right. So I would actually choose Jalen Waddle here if he was available. I know most people love Devontae Smith and repeatedly draft Devontae Adams. No, Devontae Smith, Philadelphia. Devontae Smith from Philadelphia over Jalen Waddle. But if you look at their stats, they're practically the same. There's very little difference between these guys. I'm going to hold my nose as a Cowboys fan, and I swear I never draft Eagles ever. But here I am going to go with Devontae Smith because I would have chosen Waddle, and Smith is his twin brother. Yeah. Pez is up next. Are you here, Pez? So, Doug, what do you think of my Devontae Smith pick? Everett.
What was that? Oh, it was on me. That was fast.
Yeah.
Oh, Pez. See, I was like, man, I didn't see Pez taking Adams.
Yeah, I think Adams early.
Yeah, he disappeared with Adams.
Yeah, Adams is solid year in and year out. Let's see.
Who's going to be the quarterback, though? Is it going to be what is it?
I say it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Minshew.
And Minshew.
And Minshew has been performing whenever he's. I mean, when he was in Jacksonville,
like that. Yeah.
I like O'Connell, but I think Minshew will get the starting job.
Minshew's just more consistent with it, isn't he? As opposed to O'Connell. I think with O'Connell, you're going to have some bad games. You're going to have some big games. Minshew's more of a safety net type thing. You know what you're going to get with Minshew. He's not going to win you games. He's not going to lose you games.
I normally don't take quarterbacks early, but the way they've been falling off the board, and the way this guy ended last year, I think it's going to carry over to this season. And I'm gonna go with my boy Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray today. Rich Eisen has
that could be a steal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the 9th quarterback off the board. That could be a steal at that place if he stays fit. To be fair. Johnny, over to you. What's your thinking here now? You've got 2 running backs and a tight end. We're looking wide receiver now.
Yeah. But say we'll do to the end of the 5th round. That way Craig gets another pick, and then I'll show you the latest draft board for the Scott Fishbowl with me and Pez. You can see how we're getting on. But look, we're doing another draft tonight on the Orkney Bowl page if you want to join in. So I'll take George Pickens. I think he will have a good year.
Mm-hmm.
And
couldn't agree more. I was hoping he got back round to me.
I got to go for Cooper. I do like Cooper Cup.
Yeah, I think we're only doing 4 rounds in this mock draft. Johnny, we can stop here and maybe this back up.
We're just going to do to the end of this round, Pork.
Okay, end of this round. All right.
Who's your 5th pick? Who's your 5th round pick then? You've got 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, 1 quarterback. One's a position filled. Where are we looking now? We're looking at running back again. Is that the?
No, I'm gonna get my guy while I can. I'm going tight end with Dalton Kincaid. I gotta get my studs that put up numbers.
Yeah, your studs. When you're getting a stud in the 5th round, it's well worth the pick, isn't it? And then we've got Pez. What's your 5th? What would be your 5th? Oh, Alvin Kamara. Well, we know he does like him. Pork, what have you got to say about that?
Oh, wow. So
a lot. Yeah.
I will tell you this. I was planning to draft quarterback at this round, but here is why I am not. Because every team besides Craig has already got their 1 quarterback. They're not back. Yeah. They're not drafting a backup this round or next round. So I know I will have my choice of either Jordan Love, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, or Justin Herbert. I'll take any of those 4 guys next round. So I am going to take one of my top running back, wide receiver, or tight end choices. And here I am debating if I want to go and reach for Kyle Pitts this round. Because why? He won't be there in round 6. So
he definitely won't. I guarantee you he will not, because if he doesn't go here, he goes at 5'11".
So I am going to go with Kyle Pitts in this round. That also sets me up, I think, having 2.
Yeah, I love the Kyle Pitts. I love the Kyle Pitts pick, Pork. I really do. As I say, I was going to pick him up 5'11" if he got to me. He has not. I also very much agree with your assessment of the quarterback position now. Johnny hasn't got his either. There are 3 of us that don't have, but there are more than 3 quarterbacks there. And not just the next round. I think they'll still be sitting there around 8, 9. So I have no interest in any quarterback here at the moment. I'm more than happy to run my team with Lawrence at quarterback, with Goff at quarterback, with absolutely 100%. I'm more than happy to run it with Cousins at quarterback, with Stafford at quarterback, as long as I've got one on the bench, a decent benchy one. So I'm not even thinking quarterback at this stage. At this stage, I would maybe take the tight end. If Kyle Pitts was there, I would take him. with Brock Bowers, I don't know where he's at. I don't know what he's going to be this year. Kittle and Hawkins, I think that's the tight end's really gone now until later on. So if I've not got one now, I'm not taking one. So I'm back to needing another wide receiver. So I'm definitely going in the wide receiver here. If I didn't have Collins, I would take Tank Dell here now. But as I do have him, I am looking down, and I just think this lad is going to be superb. I think Jalen Reed is the man for running wide receiver. I think he's going to be the number one in Green Bay this year, and I think he'll get a lot of targets. So there we go, gents. That's That's a 5 round. That's 5 rounds. First 5 rounds of a mock draft with Orkney Bowl scoring. This is how we are thinking it will sit. This is how we are thinking it will look. Anyone wants to make comments in the WhatsApp group or anything, please feel free. Give it the dog's abuse.
That's great. I love it. Pez, welcome back.
It's been painful today. It's been
we're right at 1 hour for our show today. I would like to say thank you again to Craig. You were awesome today in your guest spot. Everett, Ewan, you were so nervous about coming on. Dude, why? You were awesome. You're a natural.
I appreciate it. I just put a lot of pressure on myself, man. That's all.
And of course, thank you to Dr. Pez. He has the cure for your fantasy blues. It's called Dr. Pez. And Johnny, as always, back in the booth, running the highlights and the graphics and putting up the mock draft for us. I appreciate everything you do, Johnny, being the machine behind the scene. And with that, for everyone here, I am Pork Belly. Till next week. Later, everyone.
Good night, everyone.